How long from your first paying customer to like a significant amount of revenue, like let's say a million ARR or like whatever number you want to?
That took us almost like 12 more months after that, 12, maybe 14 months.
So that's relatively more rapid growth, right? Like
After
that,
that, it was pretty rapid. I think the reason is right after that, we got in the radar of TCS.
Got
So TCS hires a lot of college grads.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Their consumption
Bucket
is really
hires,
huge, right? It's like they hire an entire village, 20,000
Yeah.
engineers, right?
Yeah.
Per quarter. That's a huge number. And for that, they need to have quite a bit of screening. So they had nailed down the technical screening. They were trying to see is there a non technical screening element that they can add without having to add more burden to the end users or the people who are applying into the role. Can it be a light touch? Can it also be non fudged so that they can really know is that the person giving the interview or giving the assessment, or is it basically they are just saying it because they want to get the job?
Yeah.
So we had this element of you can't game the system because we give you certain aspects where you don't know what it may lead to an outcome, and that pretty much gave us the ability to really understand who you are as a person.
You're getting to this point, right? So how do you handle, so a couple questions. How do you first handle that growth, right? Like you're out of a company, you've been in a structured system.
Right.
How do you figure out invoicing? How do you figure out payments, taxes? How are you figuring out this rapid growth? Because, and there's two like sub questions there, which is how did you figure out pricing in the first place? And then based on that, how did you figure out the right price, the right structure? Because an enterprise may be willing to pay more for the same thing that an SMB or a smaller company isn't, right? I don't know how big TVS is in terms of scale. Sure that TCS at a scale was probably being harder negotiator
Oh yeah.
than TVS. And so how are you managing this? How are you understanding what is my P&L look like? What is my cost to serve? Like whatever you want to touch upon.
I think the first $1 million, it's hard to really nail it down to what would be the right pricing.